with the laptop overheating, so if it cuts out again, I wouldn't worry, it will come back on. Anyway, back to the racing. We now have Martin Saunders in the Ford Escort Mark 1 on track at the minute. Before him we had Samuel Thompson in the Ginetta G20 Coupe, who set a time of 89.26, which got him 10th in class, and he crossed the line with a 69.6 mile an hour speed. And we've just had Nigel Smith leave the line as well in a Ford Escort Mark II. We're just waiting for their times. Waiting for them to finish their lap. And apparently we just had Michael Bowl in the Renault Clio leave, but we haven't. And now you can see John Fordy in the Porsche 911 Carrera. He has just left the start line and is coming up to the S's now, I think. And Nigel Smith has set a time of 76.74. And before that we had, oh, now we can't see, it's just ticked over, sorry about that. Anyway, we are next on the line, we have Stephen Potter in the OMS 2000M. This is the first single seater we've had in a while. And he should, yep, he's just left the line. And you're watching that 911 Carrera round bobbies at the minute. And here is Stephen Potter. And he's just past Quarry, coming up to the S's. Very fast cars, these single seaters. These set the fastest times of the Dick Mayo Sprint. It'll be interesting to see what time Steve Potter sets. And Okay, and Stephen Potter has just set a time of 58.89 seconds and crossed the line with a speed of 98.9 miles an hour. And there you can see Phil Williams, who has just left the line in his Jedi Mark IV. And we're now looking at Stephen Mason, who has just left the start line in another Jedi Mark IV, this time a black one. And he's about to come into Quarry now. Gone round. And next on the start line we have Carol Torkington in the SBD OMS CF08. Another single seater, and she's just left the line. fast acceleration in these single seaters. Coming up Avon Rise now. And we've had Martin Pickles finish with a 58.72. Phil Williams has done a 64.57, which is a slower time than Martin Pickles, who is in a Jedi as well. And Stephen Mason has just crossed the line as well in a 69.58. And we have Richard Ames in the Chevron on the track at the moment as well, and Malcolm Borman, who has just left the line. Okay, and Carol Nichols has left the line in the Nike Mark IV. That is a very nice car. And Stephen Miles is on the line now in the Van Diemen. This is a 2020 car, and he's coming up onto Avon Rise now. This looks quick. Will he set a fast enough time though? And Malcolm Borman in the OMS 2000M has set the fastest over the line time. Fastest over the line speed with 100.3 miles an hour, and he set a time of 57.85 seconds, making him first in class for E2. Stephen Miles is about to finish now. And we've just had Matthew Hillen come out the line now, passing Quarry. Okay, that I think was the last of the single-seaters, but we have some Mazda MX-5s from the Mazda MX-5. Okay, and we've been seeing a few Mazda MX-5s going around from the Vincenzo and Sons MX-5 Challenge. We've had Chris Parr, which is set. So actually, in the Vincenzo MX-5 Challenge, in first place we have Nick Lear, who his fastest time was a 74.23. In second, we have Curtis St. George, whose fastest time was a 78.46. In third, we have Chris Parr, whose fastest time was a 78.57. And in fourth, we have Becca with a best time of 78.57. And I think we've actually just had Chris Parr overtake Pekka, and Chris Parr has set a best time, of a 78.57.
So I think what's happened there is Pekka has most likely done a Pekka and had a spin, because his 84.99 has got nothing on his earlier time of a 73.78. I think he's actually still second in class. We've just had James Herford over the line. He's the record holder at the Great Western Sprint, and he's put in a 74.7, which is slower than his earlier 74.3. So we've still got some of the fast drivers to come on the MX-5 Challenge, and this looks to be Phil Oliver, who's returning from a 3-year break of motorsport in a new car. He was actually responsible for the MX-5 Challenge starting, because he bought an MX-5 which doesn't really fit into any class whatsoever, and so we created the championship. And the rest is history. So off the line now, Mike Lear, who's been instrumental in helping us with our live stream. And let's see how he gets on going through Quarry.
And we've actually just had my favourite Vincenzo MX-5 driver, Simon Clemo, who has just taken first place in class with a best time of 74.11.
So just waiting for Mike Lear to come across the line. I can see he's just going through the final corner now, and off the start line is Matt Parr, who has absolutely monstered the first timed run, and we'll see what he does from here.
Okay, you're going on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to start the third time run for classes A1, A2 and A3 now. We're just having all the cars pull up to the start line now. Okay, we're looking in the paddock now whilst we wait for all the cars to come up to the starting line. You're now looking at a close-up of some of the cars coming up to the start line now. And you're now looking at some footage from the pit lane. And you can see all the cars here lining up. And we should be having the first car start in less than 2 minutes. Okay, we should have the first car, which is Andrew Till in the Ford Fiesta ST line, and he's just left the line now. You can see him on the start line camera, coming up Avon Rise. In first place overall, we have Julia Wolstenholme in the Austin 7. I don't actually think that can be right, actually. That's not right. Okay, we've just had David Athurst in the Fiat Punto Sporting leave the line. And we have Andrew Rollerson in the Ford KA up on the line now. And I think he's just left there. Yeah, there he is, coming up to Avon Rise now. Definitely not as quick as the single-seaters, but it's kind of expected. Okay, we've just had Andrew Till finish in the Ford Fiesta ST line. He finished with a 76.85 and crossed the finish line with a speed of 68.6 miles an hour. on the track now. We have David Hurst, Andrew Rollison and David Southcott. They should be finishing their laps soon. And you have just watched Julia Wolstenholme in the Austin 7 EA Sports leave the line, and she is coming up Avon Rise now. I think the timing system may have gone down because we have not got any times for the MG Midget. Actually, we do have Andrew Rollison in the Ford KA. He crossed the line in an 80.79 seconds with a speed of 55.6 miles an hour. Okay, and David Southcott has just finished in the MG Midget. He crossed with a time of 87.99 seconds, which gets him into 4th place in class. And Andrew Rollison, I forgot to mention, has bagged himself 2nd place with that 80.79 seconds. Okay, and we've just had Martooth lead the line of his Lotus Elise. And you're watching that Austin just went round Bobby's. And it's just crossed the finish line. And that Austin 7 has done a time of 116.19 seconds. And Noor Ali has just finished in the Mazda MX-5 as well with a time of 81.21 seconds. And we've just had Paul Weller leave the line in Peter Deville leave the line in a Peugeot 106, going around Quarry now. And Mark Tooth has finished in his Lotus Elise with a time of 73.23 seconds, and crossed the line with a speed of 77.4 seconds. So Mark Tooth has just bagged himself 1st place for A2. And we have Dave Goodard in the Lotus Elise S1 on the line now. He'll be starting in about a second or two. And Dave Goodard has just left the line. Now coming round Folly and onto Avon Rise. Up he goes. And going into Quarry now.
We go then, Dave Goddard just coming up to finish his run. He was under the class record earlier, I think, and he's done a 67.32 this time. No improvement, unfortunately, but he is still in a commanding lead.
Pete Goodman in the Lotus Elise has bagged himself second with a 69.95 second time. And Nick Hall has just finished in the Toyota MR2. He finished with a time of 78.76 seconds, which makes him 4th place in class.
So yeah, Pete, you are right. The weather is actually fantastic this afternoon. Thanks for the comment. I think your friend Graham is doing quite well. Sorry, I'm multitasking here, switching cameras and speaking to you at the same time. So it looks to me like Dave Goddard is the class winner in class A3. I think oh no, there are still a few more to go in A3, but if we go through the other classes here, so A1 have well, now I say this, it is quarter past 2. I wonder if we might end up with a 4th timed run, because I've just noticed a 4th timed run has indeed appeared on the finish, on the results here. So I think there's a reasonable chance that the clerk of the course has decided, let's run another. So this might not actually be the final results yet. We'll have to go and find out from the clerk of the course whether there is a fourth run. So I can see the big guns coming out of the paddock now. The unlimited class road cars look like they're lining up, ready to go after this bunch of up to 2.6 litre cars. So that'll be exciting to watch, I think, especially after our earlier times. So there's been quite a battle during the day today. So as we're getting towards the end of Class A3, the results are panning out quite well. Dave Goddard clearly taking the lead here. Tim Richardson, though, is remarkably close in his Lotus Elise 250 Cup, and Dan Trotman not far behind at all in his Fiesta ST. It's really close in the pack there. Pete Goodman not far behind, looking like he's probably just going to miss out on a pot. And here we've got, coming through the final corner, Wayne Shawnee in his Clio 197, and over the line there he does a 77.1. Which puts him into 11th place. And here's the first of our unlimited class cars, just coming towards the end here. This is now it says that's Andrew Meek, but I'm pretty certain that unless he's changed cars, and I didn't notice he had when I spoke to him earlier, then that's not him. Might have to go and peer out the window in a bit. Anyway, this here is very definitely Matt Bennett, who I've completely lost on the cameras. There he is. At least I thought it was. So I stand corrected, it does look like Andrew Meek has changed his car over the winter. He's got a later model Impreza instead of his trusty white classic Impreza that he's been running for so many years. So here's Matt Van. What did he win last year? He certainly won a... got some notes here somewhere that might help me. Yeah, Matt Van was third in the Bristol Speed Championship last year. Right, this very definitely is Matt Bennett. Coming up the Avon Rise, coming into Quarry here. Matt has got a bit of a task on, I think, but we'll see how he gets on during this lap.
And we have just had Stephen Moore finish in his Mitsubishi Evo 6 with a time of 63.83, which bags him first in class for a 4. And Keith Weller has just finished as well in the Porsche 986 Boxster S, and he finished with a time of 75.08 seconds. And that puts him in 7th place for Class A4. And just as I say that, we also have Matt Bennett, who has just finished too in the Porsche 911 Turbo. He bagged a time of 64.04 seconds, and that puts him in 2nd place for Class A4.
That's also under his own class record, which was a 64.2 at the start of the day. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Sorry, could you repeat that? Okay, they're ready to go live.
Okay, I've just managed to fluff that. Yep, ready when they are.
Okay, you're on in 3, 2, 1, you're on.
Oh, hold on, they're not even connected.
You're on, but we have no connection at the minute. Hang on.
It's because it was off and I didn't reconnect.
Hang on, we do not yet have connection.
Yeah, we've got nothing on them, have we? I don't know where they are, but what have we can't keep up with pressing all these buttons, like trying to keep up with what class we're in.
Since we're up to 6 videos, do you want me to read out the interact on social media bit about?
Yeah, whenever you like, yeah, just go with it.
Just a reminder that if you'd like to interact with us on social media, you can watch this stream on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch and other streaming platforms. It would be a great help if you could please like and subscribe to us and host a watch party if you're on Facebook. You can also get in touch with us on the chat and let us know what you're enjoying, where you are and who you're supporting. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and at www.bristolmc.org.uk.
Right, I have to go for a wee.
I'll keep the stream going. Okay, you're watching Steve Luscombe in the MG Midget now, who has just started his run. And let's try and find him. Ooh, we've also just had Tim Monk in the Fisher Fury finish with a time of 71.15 seconds, and he's bagged himself first place in class B3. And you have also we're just going to wait for the next car to go, and that next car would be Patrick Debola in the Triumph TR7 Sprint. Let's see if we can find him. I think we can. And there he is, going around Quarry now.
So Deborah's posted a comment here saying there's no sound. Is that just because I'm not talking, which is probably a good thing, or is that because you're getting no sound of the cars at all? We are currently in the specialist production classes here, running in modified class, so class C4. We have Simon Rogers, who's right at the top of the class, but it's a really close battle because he's only 1600ths ahead of Pete O'Connor, but they have stolen the show in the timesheets here because they're a good few seconds clear of Zoe Kingham in the SBD Westfield EcoBoost. Fantastic car with I believe they've got somewhere in the region of 375 horsepower out of that car now, so it's an impressive piece of engineering and really worth looking at. I would say if you're in the paddock, but of course you won't be.
Okay, we have another class coming in now. And we have Clive Worcester, who's just left the start line in the Radical SR4. You can see that on the start line camera. And we're about to watch him go into quarry. And that would be... Oh, we also have Luke Trotman that's just left the line in the Mallock Mark 18B. And we will have the rally car class, which is D1 and D2 up next. We have a few Escorts, a Clio and a couple of Porsches that I can see. We've actually had Tony Phillips just leave in the Vauxhall Nova. He's the first car in D3. Martin Saunders also just coming up to the line now in the Ford Escort Mark 1, and he has just left the line. We've just had Clive Worcester come in, and he has set a time of 61.07. We've also just had Luke Trotman come in with a 61.89. Clive Worcester has just bagged himself a first place with that time. And Luke Trotman is just behind Clive Worcester in second in D1 as well.
That was a good improvement there for Luke. He was stuck in the 63s earlier, and it looks like he's locked well over a second off.
And in a second here, we're going to have classes E1, E2 and E3, which are the single-seater classes, come to the assembly area, come up to the start line. They always have fast times and they're quite exciting, so we will see what they can do. And we're having the classes E1, E2 and E3 start lining up now. This should be some exciting racing. And you can probably see the timing thing on your screens now. The pick, by the way, is their current position in class, and you can see their class just before their name. And we have Stephen Potter and Martin Pickles out on the line, out on the track right now. And Samuel Thompson in the Jannetta G20 Coupe A has set a time of 81.79 seconds, which means he is 10th in class. And we've just had Stephen Potter in the OMS 2000M finish as well with a time of 60.54 seconds. Which makes him first place in E1. Martin Pickles in the Jedi Mark 1 should be finishing soon. And there he is. He has just finished with a time of 58.54 seconds, which makes him first place in E1. He's just overtaken Stephen Potter. Bill Williams in the Jedi Mark 4 should also be coming, well, his lap should be coming to a close pretty soon. And I think we can see him just going through Bobby's now. And he has crossed the line with a time of 64.7 seconds. Stephen Mason is also going to be coming up to a finish. And you can just see there on the start line, coming around Quarry at the minute, we have, I believe, Carol Torkington in the Chevron B42. Stephen Mason just crossed the line with a 70.32 seconds, bagging him 4th place in Class E1. And he also crossed the line with a time of a speed with of 82.8 miles an hour. Richard Ames has just started as well in the Chevron B42. Carol Torkington was in the SPD OMS CF08. And I think she is about to finish now. Yep, you can hear her, and there she goes. She has finished with a time of 62.19 seconds, bagging her first place in Class E2. And Malcolm Borman, who's also just started in his OMS 2000M. You can see him coming up onto Avon Rise now. And Richard Ames should be starting to finish his lap unless something has gone wrong here. But no, there he is coming around on through the bobbies onto the Westway now, and there he is. He's just crossed the line with a time of 70.08 seconds, bagging him second place in E2. There we can see Malcolm Borman coming around bobbies just after he came through Tower there, onto the Westway straight, past the finish line, and that it was a time of 57.95 seconds, bagging in first place in E2. That seems like a very, very fast time.
Just didn't play out in the future.
Carol Nichols is also about to finish in the Nike Mark IV. Beautiful car. Kind of looks like a 60s Formula 1 car.
It's a Nike. Her dad actually ran Nike. Here we go then. Steve Miles up Avon Rise. We are in the big guns here as Steve Broughton, last year's winner and the outright record holder here, comes over the line in a 53.18, which is under his own absolute record for this track, which was a 53.51 from last year. And that's looking pretty good for him. Although he did manage, I've missed this completely, he managed a 52.75 earlier, which is astounding. You can probably hear him going past me now. That's fantastic stuff. And in fact, Steve Miles has also done a 53.82, which is right up there with the fastest times. It was just outside the absolute record. Matt Hillam has also dipped underneath the absolute record today, and he'll be looking to go faster still. Here's Graham Blackwell and his Miguel EcoBoost. That's a 56.05 as he crosses the line there, which is comfortably inside the class record, which in fairness is a little bit soft, but he is 3 seconds inside it, and right up there with the battle for FTD. So it looks like we're missing some cars on the start line at the moment. It's the we're waiting for the slowest class of the day. The well, if you look at the records, so the slowest record is the MX-5 Challenge record, and they're also last coming to the line. You know, what can you say? They're probably doing their hair. They are, after all, sponsored by our longest running sponsor, Vincenzo and Sons, the hairdresser on Gloucester Road. If your hair's looking a little bit long because you've been in lockdown for a while and your hair hasn't, may I recommend you give them a buzz and head down and get your hair chopped. they're really friendly. I get my hair done there. Very nice.
Can I just say that, the slowest lap record was actually set by you, Andy?
Yeah. The dubious honour of, so my class record has in fact been beaten today by Matt Parr, who has done an absolute stonker in the last run. Let's see if I can find it. He managed a 72.62, which is out of this world fast. He's taken the best part of a second and a half off the class record, which, considering last year the top three on the podium were separated by 1.1 seconds, it's an impossible margin. So I have the dubious honour of being beaten by Matt, but because of the way they're running the start line today, the records don't count, so I retain a record which I know has been beaten, which is about as dubious an honour as you could possibly get. Worse still, Graham Blackwell's beaten my other class record, so I actually hold two records that have been beaten. And worse than that, I'm the person that holds the records and keeps track of them. So I've got to remember that every time I look at them. Anyway, coming into the final corner here, absolutely on it as always, Pekka Tulakas, and he's done a 74.21, which is a very strong time, but it's not his fastest today. He did a 73.78 today, and last year I think he did a low. No, sorry, that is faster than his run last year. Anyway, here's Matt Parr coming into the final corner. What exactly can he do over the line here? What are we going to see from Matt? 77.67, so something's gone wrong there. So on track at the moment, we've got Curtis, who'll be next to oh dear, this does not look good for, that's Aaron Sharp. This is his first sprint in the MX5 challenge, and that was decidedly smoky off the line there. Hopefully that was just him doing a massive burnout. The Mark III is a little bit gruntier than the Mark II, which really struggles to do that. And here we go, this is Nick Lear sharing the car with his brother Mike. It was actually their father's car, which they've obviously known for a long time, and they've been racing that car in the Vincenzo and Sons MX5 Challenge for several years now. Nick normally has the edge. Mike's going to hate me saying this, but Nick normally has the edge here at Combe. But I guess we'll see what happens. So Aaron Sharp coming up to the line here, and he's managed a 76.21, which puts him ahead of Curtis, I think. Yeah, just about. So that's his best of the day. And James Herford on a 75.4, which isn't as good. That's his slowest run of the day, so he won't be happy with that. Class record holder for the Great Western Sprint. Here's Andy Thompson, membership secretary for the club. He's steadily improved. He's been going for several years on this. It was his first experience of competition, and he's just been getting steadily better. That's a 78.3, which ironically, after me saying that, is his slowest run of the day. Sorry Andy, I've jinxed you there. Anyway, Matt Hillam sharing the car with Steve Broughton. Let's see what he can do. 52.92. That is absolutely incredible. That puts him not quite on the pace of his teammate Steve Broughton, but they are incredibly close there. Less than 2/10 separating them, and that is well inside the absolute lap record as it stood earlier today. He must be coming towards the finish. So Joe's just on the meerkat thing because he's looking for his dad, and here he is, coming out of Tower and into Bobby's. What can Simon Clemo do in the Mark III MX-5?
I will tell you what he can do. He can do a 75.48 seconds, which puts him in 4th place.
I think it's fair to say he's probably going to be pretty happy with fourth place today, isn't he?
Yeah, especially with everybody else in the class.
It's a strong class today, especially with Matt Parr joining. He's obviously done more laps round Castle Combe in the last year than everyone else has done put together, I think. He is the class champion in Castle Combe Saloons at the moment. Anyway, coming over Avon Rise is Michael Bartlett, sharing the car with Pekka Tulakas. They have an absolute ding-dong battle usually. And today, Michael's not quite on Pekka's pace. Let's see if he can change that this time. Phil Oliver coming into the final corner, returnee to the championship. Let's see what he can achieve. Here's Michael getting to the final corner. Let's see where he ends up. 73.6, that's far more like it. Much more on his usual pace. Believe that might be a couple of... Oh, actually, 73.6. No, that is his personal best time. Fantastic work. And now this actually is Matt Parr. We had an identification issue earlier. It was actually Chris Parr previously. You can see the rear end of the car just sliding through Bobby's there. Absolutely fantastic to watch. And what's he come in with? 73 dead. Well, it's not quite as fast as earlier, but it's a fantastic time all the same. Here's Paul St George coming into Bobby's. See what he can muster. He shares this car with his son Curtis. Paul is the proprietor of Car Paint Medics in Brislington. So if you need your car done, any bodywork, if you had a little bit of a bump somewhere, he's the guy to speak to. Well regarded. I had some work done myself. This Mike Lear here coming through the final corner. He'll be looking. Oh, he'll be happy with that. A 74.07. That is his personal best, and it puts him in 3rd place by the looks of things. And it bumps Pekka off the podium. Pekka is not going to be happy, or does it? No, sorry. Pekka is still 3rd from his first timed run. So the Porsche is on track now. They are the final runners in the third timed runs. Unfortunately, I don't have a graphic for run 4 of 4, which it appears we're going to have. Because I can see classes A1 and A2 lining up in the start line here.
Okay, we are just waiting for classes A1, A2 and A3 to start. We're just waiting for the first car to come up onto the starting line. Okay, the first car should be pulling up in just a second. Looks like there may be a delay, but that's not confirmed. And that's the first car off. That is Andrew Till in his Ford Fiesta ST line. Coming up past the start now, up Avon Rise. Yep, so we're going to see the Fiesta in a second, and we've also just had David Ashurst in a Fiat Punto Sporting leave the line as well, as he comes up Avon right. And we've just had Andrew Tilf across the line in a time of 77 dead, which puts him in first place for A1. And that is David Ashurst in the Fiat Punto Sporting coming through Bobby's at the minute. And he will cross the line with a 90.33, which puts him in second place in A1. And now you're watching Andrew Rollison in the Ford KA coming through Bobby's, and he will finish with a time of 79.71. don't forget that if you have any things you'd like to say, there is a comments box and we will be able to see it. So, and we'll reply to whatever you say. So. We now have the unlimited class pulling up to the start line. with a mix of Porsches, Mitsubishi Evo. As I was saying, the unlimited class coming up to the start line now. We've got some caterhams as well. The Mitsubishi Evo has just left the line, and you can see the times, if you would like, in the bottom right corner of all of the camera angles. So if you ever wonder about the times, then you can look there.
Here's Mike Smith coming up Avon Rise. I'm going to concentrate on Mike because he loaned us the battery that means you can actually see these cameras. It's a lovely chap driving his Silver, which is quite something to go and wander around. The lightweighting is taken to another level. Every second you spend looking at it, you'll spot something new that will make you go, ooh. It's a lovely little car, and he drives it so well. He should be heading towards Tower now, and here he is, heading towards his own battery. I think he's got a bit of rubbing on the arches there with the tyre, a little bit of smoke coming off it. And then back into the tail end of Class A4. This is double drivers. Philip Matchwick. See how he can do over the line here. A 71.6. That was Dave Rayner flying there through the final corner, putting down a 70.92, not quite as fast as his first timed run. I don't know if the track's going off, but several people not able to make the most of their extra time run this afternoon. So Tim Monk coming through Bobby's to finish his final run. Another slightly slower run there. So Tim doesn't improve. He's obviously had a moment somewhere because that's his slowest run since first practice. but he is in the lead of the class, and by the looks of things has won the class ahead of John Brunner.
So we are about halfway through the fourth run of the day. We have just a few more classes to go.
There's the Alpha off the line there. I don't know if you've heard this, Joe, but I was trackside earlier trying to fix the cameras, and it sounds absolutely brilliant. I bet it must be an absolute riot to be in that today.
Yeah, especially in this lovely weather.
Here is that lovely Alpha of Mike Stark. See how he goes through bobbies. So he's running in the modified class, which is pretty much anything goes based on the production shell, as long as it still retains the original engine. Puts him first in class at the moment on a 68.4. That is the unlimited class for modified production cars, but there are of course several other cars still left to run in that class. So Pete Spiller here coming over Avon Rise into Quarry. He's very familiar with the circuit, competing in Castle Combe's race series. Very talented driver. Let's see how he turns out here. He's running in class C3. And if you're wondering where we get this wonderful shot from, you can see the camera sat right there on the tyre barriers in this shot. But anyway, back to the action. Here is Pete coming round Tower Corner and past our camera on the tyre barrier bobbies and over the line. That's a 73.17. He's running on road tyres, I believe. So that's really quite an impressive time considering the car. So on track now we have Pete O'Connor in his Westfield. This is his first run in the car, and he's very swiftly followed by Zoe Kingham in the SBD Westfield. Here's Pete now. Oh, that does not look like he's going as fast as we'd expect. He's definitely cruising there. Pete, one of I would say one of the better drivers out there. Normally able to set very quick times, but he's done a 78 there, which isn't anywhere near his normal times. For reference, he did a 60.9 on his previous run, so he is 18 seconds slower. Oh, and we've got someone locking up here, coming into Quarry. That's Nigel Holt. I just missed that perfectly. Hope you liked it. So it looks like Nigel Holt has slowed down a bit on the second half of the lap. Obviously had a bit of a incident on the way into Quarry. He's taking it a bit easier on the last half of the lap. Still puts in a 73.34. And that isn't far off his best. His previous best run was a 73.23. So that lockup didn't cost him much at all. Just looking at Simon Rogers' time there, a 59.91, which matches to the 100th of a second his time in the second time run, and that's an astounding time. I mean, if we look at the class records for that class, the record is a 61.48, which has stood for 6 years since Ian Parr set it in 2014, and he's just smashed that record by a good 1.6 seconds. Yeah, quite incredible, and repeatedly done so. In fact, he has broken the class record 4 times today. Fantastic. We've got the Libra cars on track now. Just Clive, Worcester on the middle section of the course. Jeremy Davis absolutely flinging it in through Bobby's there at the far end of the track. And he's done a 63.33. That's incredibly consistent. He's been in the 63s practically all day. Here's Clive Worcester. Final corner. What's he going to do? He's fighting with Luke Trotman right behind him. Clive can't improve though. He's 2/10 off his best from just after lunch. but can Luke improve? That's the question. Luke at the moment, he had a massive improvement last time, but he's still a second and a half behind. Here he is through Tower, coming into Bobby's. He certainly doesn't look like he's holding back. And it's a 62.44, not quite as good as his previous time. Now we move on from the small Libra class into the rally cars. First car is Tony Phillips in his Nova SR. And here he is coming through Tower, heading towards Bobby's. That car's moving about underneath him through there. So he managed a 76.01 in his first timed run, and that was a 76.42, which was just behind. Michael Boll in the Clio there, coming in through Quarry. Martin Saunders has just improved with a 76.7. So he currently lies on this run at least second in class. Oh, look at that. You can't beat a Mark II Escort with the tail end just wiggling about going through the corner there. Fantastic stuff. And that was a 75.38 for Nigel Smith in the Ford Escort as he slid it through Bobby's. A massive improvement for him. And an improvement for Michael Boll as well in the Clio with a 69.47. So he currently leads the class. He was already leading the class. He's the only one into the 60s, but he's taken another few tenths off his best time. Solid number of improving times there. Through Bobby's in the 911, fantastic looking car that is. That's John Fordy, who has just posted a 75.42, which is an improvement on his first timed run of a 75.79. That puts him third on this run, but James Brady has been quicker already. So I think that puts him third overall. Fourth overall, and James Brady indeed goes quicker again with a 74.06, slots into second place. The final car in that class is David Phillips in a Nova SR. I believe that's the double driven car with Tony Phillips, and he hasn't started yet. They're still doing their changeovers. Here's Samuel Thompson in the Ginetta G20 Coupe. With an 81.22, so he is the last runner in C4, I believe. And that is an improvement for him. He'll be happy with that. And we're on to the single-seaters here. Stephen Potter in the OMS 2000M. This is class E1, that's a 60.56, not an improvement for him. His second time run was a 58.89. But hot on his heels, Martin Pickles. Oh, very hot in there. He's cost himself a bit of time. He had to check up for the second apex. And where's that put him? A 57.9. He was on one there. That is a huge improvement. He's gone 8 tenths quicker than his previous best today. And that puts him in the class lead where he already was, but it puts him even further ahead of everyone else. Fantastic. In fact, no, that has pushed him into the class lead. A little wide there for Phil Williams. 64.88. That's very consistent times for him. He's been within 3/10 all afternoon, and that puts him into third position. The gloves are coming off now. Stephen Mason with a 67.56, which is a significant improvement. Not quite enough to catch Phil Williams there. So we're going up in engine sizes now. Carol Torkington. And that is an improvement for her as well. She'll be happy with that. She's taken another 4/10 off her previous best and closed the gap to Malcolm Borman, who's just coming into quarry by the looks of things. I'll have to tell you that because the stream's a little bit flaky there. So Richard Ames in the chevron coming through the final corner. His previous best was a 70.08 and he doesn't improve. Be seeing Malcolm Borman coming tower out now, and on his way into S's. Lots of curb on both apexes, fantastic stuff, and that's a 58.05. He's been incredibly consistent this afternoon, 2/10 covering the last 3 runs, and that's a pretty solid first in class there. So here we are watching the final rally car. It's David Phillips. His previous best was a 76.08. I'm just waiting for Carol Nichols here in the Nike. Coming into the final corner here. Carol's quite a personality in the paddock. She's a lovely lady. She'll happily tell you all about her car and its history. She knows a lot about it. Been in motorsport all her life.
Okay, we've got Stephen Miles on the track right now in the Van Diemen. We're just gonna wait for him to come round. Here he is, he's coming through. And coming through Bobby's now. On to this thingy straight, and he'll come through with a time of hasn't come through, but we have just seen Graham Blackwell start, and here he is coming round fully and onto Avon Rise. Up into quarry. And Matthew, Stephen Miles has done a 53.43, putting him in second in Class E3. And we have Graham and Pecker on the track right now. Pecker's just started. Matthew Hillam has also set a time of 52.86 seconds, which puts him in first place for Class E4. And Chris Parr is now lining up on the line, and he's just started now. You can see him there coming round Folly. And Graham Blackwell set a time of 57 seconds dead. I believe I said that before, actually. And we're still waiting on Pecker's time. And we have James Herford lining up now. Oh, there we go, we've just got Pecker's time. He set a time of 75.37 seconds, putting him in first of the Vincenzo and Sons MX5 Challenge class. Chris Parr just coming through Bobby's now, about to set a time, and he has set a time of 77.48 seconds. Yeah. And Simon Clemmer has just started as well now. Curtis St. George has also just finished. He set a time of 77.32 seconds, putting him in second place in the MX5 Challenge class. James Herford is currently on the circuit, coming round Tower. And we're about to look at Bobby's, where he's just gone through. He's on the straight, and he set a time of 74.95 seconds, which means, so he is now in first place of the Vincenzo of the MX5 Challenge, and we're going to wait for some more times to come in now. Aaron Sharp is lining up on the line. On the track at the minute, we have Nick Lear and Andrew Thompson. Simon Clemmer has just set a time of 74.56 seconds. There has been a major battle for first place in the MX5 Challenge class, but Simon Clemmer has now taken first place. Nick Lear has also just set a time of 74.19 seconds, which is now taken over Simon Clemmer, and so now Nick Lear is in first place of the MX5 Challenge.
Critically, what that means is that Mike has beaten Nick, which Mike will be absolutely over the moon about. There's only 500ths in it, but he is faster. And that very often doesn't happen at Combe.
And Andrew Thompson has just set a time of 77.2 seconds, which puts him in fifth place of the Vincenzo and Sons MX5 Challenge class. We now have Phil Oliver and Peter Shaw on the track at the minute. David Newman just on the line. And there he goes. David Newman is off. And we're looking at Bobby's now. We just saw Phil Oliver go through. And Phil Oliver will go on to set a time of 76.02 seconds, putting him just behind Aaron Sharp and putting him in fifth.
That's exactly the same time he did on his previous timed run, and it's only 7/100ths off of his best time, which he did in his first timed run. All of his runs within 3/10. Quite impressive for his first time back.
And we're about to see Peter Short's time, which was a 77.29, putting him in 8th. We have Damon Newman has now left the start line. And we have Andrew Ames just lining up. And David Newman's just set a time of 71.96 seconds, which puts him in... 75... No, never mind, 71.96 seconds. Which puts him in first of the Mazda MX-5 class. There are many battles going on in the MX-5 class right now. Oh.
So it's looking likely Dave is going to have a strong win in the Bristol 2 Litre Cup today. Previous Vincenzo & Sons MX-5 champion, still driving an MX-5, but now modified to the point that it no longer meets the criteria, and he's running in the 2 Litre Cup. Car sounds absolutely fantastic on its throttle bodies. It really is something to hear. So here's Steve Broughton off the line, and he'll be hoping to win outright today. At the moment he's looking at trying, in fact, scratch that, he actually has won today. He set a 52.75 on his second timed run, and that has been good enough to beat Matt Hillam, who managed a 52.83. There's Steve through the final corner. 53.43. Nope, hold on, that was Steve Miles. 52.4. Wow. That's something else. That is 1.1 seconds faster than his existing class record. Quite something else. So we've now got a few of the second drivers in the MX-5 challenge. This is Matt Parr, and let's see what he can do. He's been doing some absolutely incredible times today, having smashed the class. My goodness me, a 71.9. Wow, that is 2 whole seconds inside the existing class record. He has the... Yes, this is the biggest winning margin in MX-5 Challenge history. He is 2.4 seconds clear of everyone. He's astounded me so much I'm not even switching the cameras at the right time. That's... wow. Well done to Matt Parr, frankly. That's out there. So let's see how Mike Lear can do on his final run. A 74.24, which is slower than his brother Nick, but only on this run. He previously did a 74.07, which I think will put him 4th at the end of the day. Coming in hot there for Paul St George. Had to check up for the second apex. He's put in a 77.27, which is his fastest run of the day. He'll be happy with that.
We've just got the last car on the starting line now. This will be the last start of the day. And there he goes, he's off.
So here we go then, the final car of the day. This is Wayne Easton in his Porsche Boxster, sweeping through bobbies for the final time, and he finishes in a 72.45, which puts him right in the middle of the class. So that is the end of that. That has been the 2020 Dick Mayo Sprint. It's been a bit hectic, and the coverage hasn't been quite what we expected, but I hope you enjoyed it, the few of you that watched. We'll be back at some point in the future, hopefully Landau next month for the first day of our Welsh Sprint weekend. We'll see you then.